difficulty, about what you need to do, about the pressures that families face when they have childcare needs. He found those needs where they could best be served, best be delivered, and yes, that did involve travel. But I have to say, I think that looking at the situation, I think any father, any parent would frankly understand what he did. And I certainly do, and I spent a long time talking to him about it today. And on your point about the future and June the 1st, well, all I can say, Robert, is watch this space. You will have heard me say what I've said. We remain firmly on that roadmap, but we are proceeding in a way that is provisional, that is contingent, that is entirely dependent on our ability to continue to make the progress we are currently making in pushing that R down, defeating the virus. And you'll be hearing more about that in the next few days. Is Ian back? I think Ian, no, sorry, thank you. We'll come to Ian as soon as we can. We'll go to Gary Gibbon of Channel 4, please.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I'm a bit puzzled. You've had this long chat with Dominic Cummings. You said he went where he could get childcare. I thought he's now saying he didn't receive any childcare, but did all the childcare himself. You say he drove up the road when he was about to be incapacitated. He didn't know that. He couldn't know that. Could he? And you say, more alarmingly, really, you say he was following instincts. The rest of the country was following rules, not instincts. Are we now all entitled to follow instincts? Where will that leave it when a tracer goes round to someone and says, well, you have COVID, I need you to isolate? Well,
Gary, as I've said just now, the guidance makes it very clear that where you have particular childcare needs, that has got to be taken into account. And as I've said, I've looked very clear. I've seen a lot of stuff in the last few days about this episode of self-isolation by Mr. Cummings that does not seem to correspond remotely with reality. And as far as I can see, he stuck to the rules, and he acted legally and responsibly, and with the sole objective of avoiding such contact as would spread the virus.
He got the virus probably in the train, in the car, didn't he?
Well, his objective was to stop the spread of the virus, and he behaved in such a way as to do that. Can we have Charlie Cooper? No, we're going to go back. Sorry, thanks, Gary. We're going to go back to Ian Watson of the BBC.
Yeah. Okay, Prime Minister, can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Excellent. So for better or worse, I haven't entirely been silenced.
No, forgive me.
Conservative MPs have got in touch with us today, Prime Minister, because they say lots of their constituents are angry. They feel that allowing somebody who was already ill to travel 250 miles across the country breaches at least the spirit of your guidance. Hand on heart, can you really say that this didn't breach the spirit of your guidance? When were you told that Dominic Cummings was making this trip, and did you approve that trip? And can I also ask another question, just in case I get muted again? And that is this. You said that some of the stories in the press were palpably untrue. Can you clear up one story which your ministers and indeed your press officers haven't been able to clear up? Did Dominic Cummings make a trip to Barnard Castle in April when he was isolating, or at least was based, in Durham?
Right. Well, Ian, what I can tell you is that I think when you look at the guidance, when you look at the particular childcare needs that Mr. Cummings faced at the time, it was reasonable of him to self-isolate, as he did, for 14 days or more with his family where he did. And I think that was sensible and defensible, and I understand it. And as for all the other allegations, again, I just repeat what I've said earlier on. I've looked at them carefully, and I'm content that at all times throughout his period in isolation, actually on both sides of that period, he behaved responsibly and correctly and with a view to defeating the virus and stopping the spread.
But some Conservative MPs are saying, Prime Minister, that this defence that Dominic Cummings behaved responsibly, many of their constituents are angry about that.
Yes, well, let me just say...
As though they were
yes.
irresponsible in not breaching the guidelines and going somewhere close, perhaps to their family during this lockdown, and they feel insulted by that. So what would you like to say to their constituents? Because that's where the postbag is coming in.
Of course,
their
and
constituents
I understand that. I understand that.
Out at that kind of language.
I understand that, and I think that one of the reasons it's so important, and one of the reasons I was so determined to come and talk to everybody about this, is because I can totally get why people might feel so confused and, as you say, so offended by the idea that it was one thing for people here and another thing for others. But really, having looked at what happened, having looked at his intentions and what he was trying to do for the good of his family, I really think most people will understand what he was doing, and above all, what he did, if you look at the measures that he took, they were designed to stop the spread of the virus. And I think that he, at all times, as I say, behaved responsibly and legally. Though Ian, I perfectly accept the point that you make, and that's why it's so important. That's why I wanted to come out and make these points this afternoon. Can we go?